I'm Theo.
And I'm Juliet.
And this is Apologies Accepted.
We offer an entertaining look at some of the big issues in history by examining public apologies of the famous and infamous.
We're looking at politicians, serial killers, actors, and you.
Send us a public apology you would like to make, and we'll read it on the air and give you a chance to redeem yourself or just get some guilt off your shoulders.
We're here for you. Once a week, maybe more if you're really, really sorry. Hi, everybody.
This is Apologies Accepted,
the podcast.
And I'm not Theo this week for a change.
And I am Juliet, so you all better do what I say.
There's two of us.
So there are.
Cool. I don't know if the world can handle two of us.
So much better. No, it's better. It's better with two of us running the show.
Nutty.
No, of course I'm not Juliet. I could never hope to be.
No. So what's shaking bacon?
What's shaking bacon is it's your birthday today, literally on the day that we're recording, literally.
That is totally the only bacon.
That's the only thing anybody needs to know.
It's my birthday. I'm 50-something. I'm not sure how many 50s I am, but several 50s, closer to 60 at this point, which is weird and scary, but good. It's better than the alternative, as they say.
Being closer to 20?
Well, that is unfortunately not an alternative. But yeah, I have a chocolate cake, which is sitting behind me calling my name, and totally excited about that. So it's going to be a low-key birthday. We are going, I guess, and we are going to Mendocino for the weekend next Friday, and we're going to be hanging out there with the dog, which will be fun. Going to go to the botanical gardens and do some hiking, some low-key hiking, and, hang out and do some art galleries and have a good time. So I'm looking forward to that. I wish it was this weekend, but it's not. It's next weekend. So I just have to wait.
Boo, that's not a great birthday gift for you well, maybe it is. It's teaching you patience.
Yeah, I have something to look forward to. So that's always nice.
Yeah, that's a good way there's a silver lining.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And what's new with you?
Well, nothing as awesome as coffee shops and art galleries and hiking and Mendocino. Yeah, and all that. My birthday is not until the end of the month. So speaking of waiting, oh, God. Yeah, I'm wrapping things up here in the desert and very much looking forward to hitting the road and spending 10 hours by myself in the car, not answering questions, not thinking about how to solve problems. Yeah. And just listening to podcasts and audiobooks. I don't know if I shared this on the podcast, but I embarrassingly have listened to about 20 hours of that fairy sex book, Thorns and Court of Thorns and Roses.
Yeah.
Oh, my God. Oh, my God. Am I ashamed of myself? I have the power to turn it off.
Love it. You're loving every minute of it.
I don't. I'm actively, it's not hate listening.
Oh my God.
It's not mock listening, but it's some combination of the two. And I also need to know if she's going to end up like. So it is the most embarrassing, ridiculous, asinine. And so far, no sex. There's a lot of sexual tension in the book, right?
Yeah.
And it's like they're almost fucking, and I'm waiting for that to happen. So maybe on the ride home, because I think there's another 20 hours of this fucking book.
Hopefully, in the 10 hours, they'll get to it.
There'll be some payoff. Oh, yeah. So
that's funny.
Do you have
podcasts
story.
that you like to listen to on the drive?
So as much as I'm trying to stay away from politics, they are also so worthy of hate listening to right now that I am listening to The Pivot, and Kara Swisher has her own show called On, where she interviews people who are politically astute or economically astute, right? And what I like about it is it's not a lot of Trump is so stupid, we hate him, which is most of the world news out there, right?
Right.
It's more like, here's a situation, here's our analysis of it, here's some background, and it puts things in context without without it really being about Trump.
Yeah.
Right? Because we start with the premise that the guy's an asshole, and now there's no need to discuss it further. Move on. And then, of course, American Hysteria, giant fan of that, which they look at folklore and urban legends. And not paranormal exactly, but they will dip their toe into paranormal bullshit. Of course, What You're Wrong About.
Oh, yes.
Yeah, it's the other one. My favorite murder is still the gold standard. It really is. I mean, it's just so good. Even now, it's better now that they are no longer with Amazon. I think they were with Amazon
they left
for
Amazon?
a while.
I didn't realize that.
Well, did they leave or did Amazon tell? So basically in the podcast industry, there's been this massive shakeup. And the two giants remain Apple and Spotify. But other players got into the market, like iHeartRadio is getting into the market, and they were trying to buy these shows and all that. So My Favorite Murder is now with iHeart, but they were independent for a while.
Yeah.
And when they were with, again, I believe it was Amazon, their $100 million deal, it did feel like they were phoning it in. I quit listening for a little while because it lost the charm for me, right? And then they went independent and the charm came back. Or
yeah,
whatever.
I have noticed that it's better these days. I've been listening to it every week now, and for a while I stopped too.
Yeah. And so I could listen to them for 10 hours. I could listen to us also. I've gone in and just randomly hit some shows like, I don't remember that one, right? And it's like I'm listening to something I don't know anything about. I have really bad memory.
Said what?
Oh, yeah. There's a couple of moments in past podcasts where I'm like, oh, boy, I really like going out on the edge there. But I'll say like that's it. Yeah. So just kind of random stuff.
And how does your dog... No, go ahead.
Oh, I was going to say, so speaking of podcast, I found out, I forget which podcast it was, that they've solved Jack the Ripper.
I heard that. Yeah. It's some dude I never heard of. I mean, not that I would know, but...
One of the top suspects, the Polish barber, I think it was Adam Kizminski, I believe. But yeah, so through DNA analysis, his great niece coughed up some DNA.
Oh, wow.
And 100% match. Now there's still some maybe it was 99.9, right? But yeah, and it really does kind of point back to the thing about an unknown monster is that he's unknown. It could be anybody. Now that I know it's Adam Kaminsky, the Polish barber that came to London when he was 21, it's kind of like, it's not that, I mean, it's terrible, of course, still, but, I wanted it to be Prince Albert or whoever, the member of the royal family, Shakespeare. Shakespeare has come back from the grave to exact revenge on the sex workers of Whitechapel.
There you go.
Whatever.
That would be a good story. You should write that book.
Oh, no, I'm still on my vampire moves to a town of cannibals story. So, yeah.
That's awesome. I can't wait to read that book.
I can't wait to read it either. I've been working on it for 5 years now, easily. But yeah, so that's it from Bacon Land over here.
That's good. I was just going to ask how your dog likes the trips. Does he handle it pretty well? He hates it, poor guy.
Well, he just sits in the back seat. He doesn't look out the window, and he
can't drive.
Well, more's the pity.
Yeah, right.
But he lays down and he stares at the door, waiting for it to open so he can get out.
End.
Yeah. Yeah. And it's sad because it's like, you're going to be looking at that door for 6 hours. We're not stopping until it's time for gas.
Yeah.
Yeah.
My dog's pretty good about the trip. She usually stands up and looks out the window. So I'm hoping that means she enjoys it.
Yeah.
But, who knows what it means? I mean, it could mean she's praying for death, but I don't know. She seems all right.
It means she enjoys it. Henry has zero interest in looking out the window. He can.
Yeah.
He could easily, I make the trip rule. I have treats. He gets treats every now and then.
Yeah.
Well, I shouldn't say lots, but, every time I stop, he gets a walk around some of the finest gas stations off of
That's
the
right.
10.
Yeah. And boy, are they designed for dogs.
Well, there's always a patch of weeds.
Often there's a patch of weeds, yeah.
Yeah.
And there's usually a McDonald's where we like to get sausage egg McMuffins, which my dog is a big fan of, and also me, but that's not for me. It's really
sure.
for my dog that we
Of
stop.
Of course.
Yes.
So I stole that idea from you, and I've been going up. Our poison is a sausage biscuit with cheese and then a sausage McGriddle.
Oh,
and a large
good.
Coke. But the Coke is for me. Henry doesn't get that.
Yeah.
But I'm only giving him the patty. So you give
That's
Sophie
reasonable.
the whole thing?
No, she gets the whole sandwich, yeah. I'd tear it up for her, so it's not, one
I
big
was
thing.
thinking of her with her little paws.
No, she'd have a hard time chewing that, but yeah, I tear it up in bits for her, and she loves it. She also really likes, my other dog used to love Kentucky Fried Chicken. It was like her favorite thing in the whole world would be if we ever went on a trip, we would stop and we would get some Kentucky Fried Chicken, and she was just so excited about that. And it's hard to find Kentucky Fried Chicken sometimes on the road, so that speaks to my dedication to my dogs, really.
It does. You're
I
a
am the best
good
dog owner. Feeding them junk food.
Making them happy.
They only have so long on the planet, so I don't think there's any harm in feeding them occasional junk food. I mean, they don't live 80 years, so they don't really have time for their arteries to harden. So I'm thinking it's probably okay.
It's more than okay. Yes.
And all the vets will be calling us now and emailing us and telling me how I'm wrong and I should never give my dog a sausage egg McMuffin. And it will kill her instantly. But we'll see. They'll save your emails. I'm not going to listen to you.
I look forward to getting those emails. Yes, there's all this will be our segue into the story. There's always somebody waiting to tell you that you're wrong.
Always.
Whatever it is that you're doing.
Always.
You have done it wrong.
Giving money to the homeless. You're doing it wrong. You shouldn't be giving those people money. They should be pulling themselves up by their bootstraps. So yes, I agree with you.
And now we're going to Ashton Kutcher and what he's done wrong.
Ashton Kutcher and Mila Kunis, who told the judge he was doing something wrong, I guess. They recently issued an apology because they wrote character letters in support of their former That 70's Show co-star Danny Masterson, who was sentenced to 30 years to life in prison for raping 2 women in 2003. During his trial, victims told stories of how Masterson drugged and raped them at his Hollywood Hills home 20 years ago and recalled the fallout from their having accused an untouchable member of the Church of Scientology of being a rapist. Kutcher and Kunis' letters, which were intended for the judge prior to Masterson's sentencing, described Masterson as an angel. As a role model and a friend. An excerpt from Kutcher's letter reads, "Danny takes his job seriously. He is kind, courteous, and hardworking. He treated everyone from the grips to the Teamsters to the actors to the caterers as equals. As a role model, Danny has consistently been an excellent one." Kunis called Masterson an amazing friend, confidant, and above all, an outstanding older brother figure. His genuine concern for those around him and his commitment to leading by example make him an outstanding role model and friend, she said. Danny Masterson's warmth, humor, and positive outlook on life have been a driving force in shaping my character and the way I approach life's challenges. I wholeheartedly vouch for Danny Masterson's exceptional character and the tremendous positive influence he has had on me and the people around him. God, he sounds like the perfect human being.
Well, he definitely sounds like a good guy if you only had those 2 letters to go off of.
And there were other letters, too. So Kutcher and Kunis were 2 of more than 50 people who wrote to the judge in the Masterson sexual assault trial to support the convicted actor ahead of his sentencing. Other stars from That 70's Show who wrote letters include Deborah Jo Rupp, who played Kitty on the sitcom, and Kurtwood Smith, who played Red. Did you ever watch that show?
Oh, I was going to say not religiously, and the Scientology comes into this, and my brain was like, no, don't do that. Upon occasion, yes, and it was enjoyable.
Yeah, I saw it too occasionally, and it was fine. I mean, I never sought it out, but I would look at it if it showed up.
Yeah, it was all right.
Yeah. Masterson was sentenced to the maximum 30 years to life. He will be eligible for parole when he is 77 years old. So I think it's kind of amazing. I mean, you hear a lot about people not getting serious trials for rape cases and assault cases, and 30 years to life seems like a lot. So I don't know. I didn't find much information about the victim's testimony. I don't know what he supposedly did. I mean, I know, he raped people and that was violent. So, but it must have been pretty bad for him to get the maximum sentence.
Drugged and raped from 2001, I think 2001 to '03. And I'm going to guess here, right? So I did not go into the trial because I was just like, I don't want that in my head.
Yeah.
Right. But I'll see what I can find along the edges. And so the first victim was his girlfriend, and they had dated for a couple of years. I would call him Danny, is a Scientologist, and his parents were mom and his stepfather, but they were married when he was like 9 years old, were heavily involved in Scientology, and they were members of Sea Org. And so Sea Org is like, you sign a $1 billion contract,
right,
to do whatever it is the church assigns you to do. And if that's go spy on people, it means go spy on people. If that's like work in a grocery store, it's work in a grocery store.
Wow.
It's and you work 24/7. You are dedicated to the church and the church's mission, but you're not necessarily entitled to know information about why you're doing the thing you're doing. So why are you taking photos of this lady having lunch? You don't know.
Like the military.
And so Danny was a child actor. And of course, in Scientology, you give them money out of your earnings, right?
Yeah.
And I think it's a minimum of 10%, much like Mormonism.
Right.
And Catholicism. You're supposed to give money if you're Catholic. So he became a very important figure in the church, primarily because, in my opinion, of his income. But it also he had those ties. People were aware of his family, right? And by people, I mean the upper management within the church. And so in '01, I think it was '01, anywhere between '01 and '03, when he and his girlfriend were having an argument. He wanted to have sex. She did not. Story as old as time, right? And he had a rule, which was, you don't touch my hair, you don't touch my face.
Weird.
Now, why was that the rule? I don't know, right? But she said that was the rule. You don't touch my hair, you don't touch my face. Face, I get, maybe you get a bruise or whatever, and then you're supposed to be on camera the next day. There's makeup, Danny.
Yeah.
Come on. And so she didn't want to, and she pulled his hair, knowing that would distract him.
Oh, boy. Yeah.
And they would have a fight. Or, like, sex would now be off the table.
Yeah.
And, apparently he hit her back, right?
Yeah.
So, okay, but not okay, whatever, there.
Yeah.
Later, he drugged her and raped her. And not only raped her, but the act was done in such a way as to cause humiliation and pain, right? So, and she went to the church.
Oh, boy.
And she went to the Celebrity Center in LA, right? That's where she's living, and reported him to the ethics committee. And in Scientology, you take ownership of your bullshit. Is the theme. So there is no such thing as psychology. That's all. It's fake,
right,
and the therapists and the drugs, and you don't need that.
Yeah.
And you're the reason you have problems.
Right.
And so what did she find out? She found out that she's the reason she got raped.
Boy.
And let's not use that word, she was told.
Boy.
Let's use, you were, whatever. I don't know what word they told her to use, right?
Yeah.
But the R word was off the table. And as part of her rehabilitation, the church made her wash his car.
What?
Yeah. Yep.
Oh my
God. Church made her wash his car because she was the reason she got raped.
Wow.
Then, and of course, the church is going to stand by Danny because money, money, money.
Right.
He's I don't know how much money he was worth at the time, but that 70's show he was a big star of a big TV show.
Yeah.
He was making some money, right? And they wanted that gravy. So they protected him. And then when a second allegation came forward, and same thing, the victim went to the church and reported him to the church and was told that the church will take care of this through the church's justice system. There's no need to go to the police. And nothing ever happened to Danny, right? Now, at the same time, Danny is hanging out with P. Diddy, And that's all. Oh, well, there's a whole Mila. No, not Mila. She comes out of this largely unscathed, aside from the apology. Right. But
Ashton?
Danny brought Ashton to some of these P. Diddy parties. And then Ashton going on his own. And apparently for a period of 5 years, he was at, I can't say all, but a lot, allegedly, of the P. Diddy freak-offs.
Wow.
Freak-offs, freak-outs, I forget. I was never invited.
Yeah.
Well, I was invited, but I'm busy. I had to stay home and make a frozen pizza.
Deal with mold.
And I don't know if that's where Ashton met Demi Moore. Was she his first wife? But certainly she and Ashton both attended those parties. So there's this whole cross-section of Scientology, P. Diddy that's in here. And so some of the more wild speculation on TikTok has been that the reason Ashton and Mila apologized is that Danny has shit on Ashton. Remember all those P. Diddy parties that you were at, Ashton?
Right.
I know some of the girls that you were with, and I know they were underage and blah, blah, blah.
Oh, my gosh.
And again, through all of this, I will say social media, thank you, social media, is largely siding with Mila. Like, her mistake is that she wrote a letter and made an apology video for writing the letter, right? But did you know that Ashton Kutcher founded an organization called Thorn? Is that within your notes?
Yeah, it's I know that he resigned, or they both resigned. They were on the board of, it's an anti-child sexual abuse charity, and he founded it with his former wife, Demi Moore.
Yeah. And so there's this whole, now, all the elements are here for conspiracy theories to spin out of control, which would be a rabbit hole to go down, but also largely a waste of time. Nobody knows.
Right.
Who knows? But it doesn't look great for Ashton to have been so effusive in his. Danny's a great guy. What's wrong, you people?
They both were, which is surprising to me. Well, I guess they thought that these letters were going to be confidential.
Yes.
So, and nobody would ever know that they said such nice things about a guy who was convicted of raping 2 people.
Yeah.
And who knows how many people he raped outside of that. I mean, I don't know anything, so I'm not saying that he did, but, probably, maybe he did. So we can talk about the apology. So there was a video, they had a response video that they posted on Instagram, which is gone now, so I couldn't find it. Did you find it by any chance?
I did find it on TikTok, but I did not find it across the interwebs.
Okay. Did you watch it?
I did, yes. But I had also... Hi, here I am. I had also seen it when it came out, right? And the criticism then was a little tone deaf, but also their background, right? And I forget exactly when this was done, but when the video was made, but people were very into judging backgrounds in videos. And it was, that's really expensive lumber. Wow, they may as well have just sat in front of a pile of gold and offered this video out. Like, wow. So I watched it for that.
What were they sitting in front of?
Barn siding.
Oh, okay.
But maybe something like, I don't know.
Expensive barn siding.
It looks nice. It's very nice. You can tell it's nice wood.
It's nice. Yeah. All right. So in their response video, they which I don't have verbatim because I couldn't find it, they expressed their regret for any pain their letters may have caused. They emphasized that their intention was not to question the legitimacy of the judicial system or the validity of the jury's ruling. Instead, they aimed to provide a character reference based on their 25-year friendship with Masterson. They also reiterated their support for victims of sexual assault, abuse, and rape, and apologized for any harm their actions may have caused. We've heard that before. Kutcher says, "We are aware of the pain that has been caused by the character letters that we wrote on behalf of Danny Masterson. Kunis said, we support victims. We have done this historically through our work and will continue to do so in the future." And Kutcher said that Masterson's family reached out to him and Kunis to write character letters to represent the person that we knew for 25 years. Kunis said the letters were not written to question the legitimacy of the judicial system or the validity of the jury's ruling. They were intended for the judge to read and not to undermine the testimony of the victims or re-traumatize them in any way. We would never want to do that, and we're sorry if that has taken place. The video concludes with Kunis saying, our heart goes out to every single person who's ever been a victim of sexual assault, sexual abuse, or rape. So that's what I've got on the apology. I don't know if you have anything to add.
Well, so what I would add would be, one, basically what you've said is the entire context of their video. It was very short.
Okay.
Right? And two, it was the delivery.
Oh, yeah.
You guys are actors and you're putting forth your real personas. So, on one hand, thank you for not acting, but it was scripted. It was read off of some form of a teleprompter, I'm imagining, right? And I'm sure it was just a case of, want to make sure we hit all of these marks and that we say all of these things. And so robotic's not quite the right word. Unemotional is also not quite the right word, but some blend of robotic with contrite, you could tell we hadn't really thought this through. It didn't feel like, oh, we're sorry we got caught or we're worried about our careers. It did feel like we do want to explain why we made the decision to do the thing that we did.
Okay.
But it felt rehearsed. Maybe that's the word I'm looking for.
Okay. All right. That's fair. So let's look at it through our criteria. Was there an expression of regret? Not really. I don't think so, based on what I had found about it. Was there an explanation of what went wrong? They didn't say, not really. They didn't say why we did this and why we shouldn't have done this. They kind of did, but I'll give that half a point, I guess. No acknowledgement of responsibility, really. No declaration of repentance. They didn't say, we're very sorry, unless I missed it. But I didn't see them say they were very sorry. No offer of repair. They didn't say, we're going to go out and donate $60 million to whatever charity or whatever. And no request for forgiveness. They didn't say, please forgive us. They said, we're sorry if we hurt anybody. And we're sorry if such and such a thing happened. And if anyone feels bad, we didn't intend that, which is red flag in an apology. So I would give this apology a 0.5, and I do not accept it.
Okay, cool. So I gave it a 1 because that barn siding was gorgeous. And I also would not accept this apology. And what's missing for me, aside from restitution, is it would be nice to hear from them why they should not have done it.
Right.
And I think you raised a good point there. So yeah, 1.5. And so that's an average of 0.75.
Yes, you're right.
Thank God, because if I was wrong, I'm showing off. I can do math. I just pretend I can't. I'm really an astrophysicist.
I know.
I'm an astropsychic.
So do you have an apology expected or who's sorry now?
Sure the fuck do. Yes. And so it is a apology expected. It will be issued at some future point by somebody, hopefully from the Democratic Party, on behalf of all Americans to President Zelensky for the treatment he received in the White House at the hands of the orange bastard and that stupid bearded puppet that he's got. What a fucking bootlicker that J.D. Vance is. Piece of shit. Both of them. And Vance is a practicing Catholic who's converted to Catholic. So you chose this on purpose, dude. The Pope doesn't like you. Take a fucking clue, right? Clearly this God thing is not going to work out for you if the Pope is against you. Yeah, so I don't know if you saw that video.
Well, I couldn't watch it, but I saw the first few minutes.
Oh my God, you can't watch it. It's so cringe.
Yeah.
It's so... Putin's boot may as well have been in Donald Trump's mouth. Couldn't have licked it faster or harder. Jesus Christ. And it's shocking. Absolutely fucking shocking that happened. But then is it? Because look at who we're talking about. Yeah. We're going to let that all go and just say that I fully expect somebody from the Democratic Party to get in front of a camera and behind a microphone and say,
we're sorry.
We are sorry that happened. But they don't want to because Donald Trump's going to investigate them.
Yeah.
And they went to a P. Diddy party once and they just touched a 7-year-old for 5 seconds.
Jeez.
No.
Oh my God. Is that one safe?
No one is safe. No, yeah. Anyway, okay, so what about you? Who's sorry now or apology expected?
I have a who's sorry now, and it's Hawaii. And Hawaii is sorry. Yes, they're sorry because in January, they mistakenly sent a false missile alert that caused widespread panic among residents. The alert was mistakenly sent during a routine internal test of the emergency alert system, and it warned of an inbound ballistic missile. It was sent to residents' cell phones, causing many to believe that they were in imminent danger, and one guy even had a heart attack. The alert, of course, was later confirmed to be false, but not before causing significant distress. Imagine if that was sent now. It would be even worse because it would be even more believable. The error was attributed to human error and a lack of proper safeguards in the alert system. So they are fixing their alert system and putting robust safeguards in place to prevent errors and the need for quick and effective communication to rectify mistakes when they occur. But I'm sure Hawaii is sorry for that, and they should even apologize, really.
Oh, but I'm glad they put robots in charge. That beast. What could happen? No more problems ever.
No more problems ever. And on that note, let's end on that note. No more problems
No more problems ever. Okay.
Stay cool, cucumbers.
And don't trip potato chips.
Yay. Happy birthday to me. Bye.
Happy birthday to you. Bye.
Thank you for listening to Apologies Accepted, the podcast.
You can find links to the articles and the sources in the show notes.
To submit an apology or find out more, visit us at apologiesaccepted.net, where you can also find our merchandise.
We're on Twitter at Apologies Accepted.
And on Instagram at apologies.accepted.
You can support our important work at Patreon.com/Apologies Accepted.
And fuck Facebook.
Bye.
Bye.